It's in the chat. How's that? It says 0 viewers. Does that look like we're up and running, or?
Yes.
We are back.
So that is an issue, I think, with Streamlabs.
It just stopped the stream for some reason. Streamlabs did. Yeah. I don't know what that was. We'll give everybody a chance to come back. I'll put a Buster song on or something. I should really put some through to the thing, shouldn't I?
I don't see you live, Bev.
Do you not? I think it says this. Yep, there's 4 people in there now. So yeah, we are back. Sorry about that, people. I don't know what was going on there. Yeah, Twitch is put it out as well. There you go. Yeah. Streamlabs, but Streamlabs is saying 0 views, so don't know what that's about. I don't think anything dropped.
Then again, Discord did go down earlier, so there is a bug in the system somewhere.
Yeah, there's a big bug in the system.
Yeah, I still can't see you live.
I put it in the chat there, so to go back. I don't know how many people we had in here. It was quite good. I was just about to go with the see whether we test of the new way of the water level was to go over. So I may as well go over it with you guys anyway, the ones that are in here. Sorry, we had to put 2 different streams together there. I don't know what happened with that last one. So this is going to be right in the middle of whatever we were doing. I'm going to have to go over it again at some point, but may as well just carry on going with what we were doing.
Your mic.
Yeah, get two streams out of it. So this is meant to be a straight line, but I'm not too sure about how to do this any better than this, because if you look, if I there you go. That sort of, if you can keep it tight, it's near enough on the line. So I don't suppose it's that bad. It's a pretty good idea. So once you've set that, that would be the straight line, the shortest distance from this one to the other. But just as a way to visualize it, the straight line's there. It's not going to change. So the question would be, where would the water level be at this point here? Well, it's a straight line. The water level will be on this line all the way across. Obvious. Well, how do you test that? Well, the test is the test. This is the paradox. The paradox is that in reality, this is a straight line from here to here. So in reality, there is no paradox for anybody living in reality that accepts this water level from here to here is a straight line. The paradox comes that if you're Mr. Peach here and you've got an auto level, and you're looking in that direction, like Jesse Kozlowski's told this man, Scott Peach, that the water level drops down, drops away from the horizontal at a rate of 8 inches times the distance in miles squared. But that also means Mr. Peach is over here. This water level that's not moved has to be 8 inches times the distance in miles squared lower than this one over here without moving. So you can have both down and down. Paradox 1. The water won't drop, right? There's no drop to the water level. That's how water flows. Down. If there's an elevation change, the water will flow down to establish its level. So the paradox comes that when you have the water level, and this one can be neither higher nor lower, which proves that there can't be a drop at this end. But then they still need a curvature because this straight line can't be. So they have to have a hump. But water can't go up. So if it can't go down and it can't go up, there's only one thing it can be. And that's the one thing it can't be. Hence the paradox. The one thing it is what it is, that it's very simple, the water level establishing a horizontal, is the one thing it cannot be in the minds of the model. The model need either a drop, 2 drops, drop this way and a drop this way. I've got a pen. This is fantasy. The water needs to do that from there. I need new pens. But it also needs to do that from there. But you can't have this drop here and this drop here. Can't possibly be. So what they need to do is to put a hump in the middle. So that would be a measured rise from the horizontal, which it can't be because that's an elevation change in that direction. Any difference from this line is an established elevation change. This is a paradox. It's a terrible paradox if you've got a model. All done with one of the simplest tools there is, a water level. And helped to us, shown to us by Jesse Kozlowski. Jesse Kozlowski showed us, or told us on Jose's, that the water level drops down, drops away from the horizontal at a rate of 8 inches times the distance in miles squared. Drops. But it cannot be. Can't be a drop. So what he did was he drove over Rakir's bridge in his car like that on the bridge, measuring a height of 5 meters above the water, and then he gave those coordinates to Walter Bislin, and Walter Bislin gave him this model where he turned it and he ended up with a big hump like that on the bridge. And he said this was measured as a height. He called this distance here 23.7 miles, and he called this height here 28.5 meters. That's well beyond the cavitation point of water. Nearly 3 times above. Impossible. The water cannot hump like that. They don't build bridges with humps in them like that. Jesse Kozlowski knows that. Walter Bislin made the map. Walter Bislin and Jesse Kozlowski gave us this paradox. Jesse Kozlowski laid it out for us. Step 1 at Jose's, where he said the water drops away from the horizontal straight line at a rate of 8 inches times the distance, and drops. But anybody that knows a drop from horizontal is a measured change in elevation. You can measure that. You can measure that distance, and if you can measure that vertical change, it's a change in elevation. That's the biggest paradox ever. And like Sarayaki said, and Mr. X, there's none of these in reality. There's no paradoxes in reality. They don't exist. The paradox shows there's a flaw in the logic. And the flaw in this logic is that a water level only establishes a horizontal plane, because like this tool here shows, you could move this one here and it would show it's not up there. It's on that same level. It's all on that line. Every one of these points. I mean, it's dead easy to set up a test to work out whether all of this water's on this level. I mean, doing the test is not the problem. Seeing this paradox that the water drops from here, yet it drops from here also. It stays the same level, but it supposedly drops. I mean, that's ridiculous. That just goes to show it's a straight line. Water level, water level, level. This does not go up there. Because then you would have a slope. A deviation from horizontal. Up or down is a slope. So that's a paradox. How do you think that works as a way to try and explain it? I'm going to switch that off on the Discord. Put Discord back on. All right.
Yeah, I think that's good. That shows it very well. The dropping from both sides and the hump at the same time. I think the only way to perfectly represent it would be on the side view like that.
Yeah. Do you like about me little magnets and the string?
Yeah.
I was thinking of some way that I could incorporate a parallel into it with the laser. You know, into that. I don't know, but I think that's the best way I think I can describe the it not being higher or lower and explaining the paradox without bringing optics into it. Because I think as soon as you bring the optics into that argument and that paradox, you're playing in the realms of the optics. The idea is to just keep it the same within the logical framework and the straight line. The paradox is the double drop or the hump, when the obvious answer is that it's just a horizontal plane established.
Good stuff, bro.
Try not to bring in the vertical either. But if you do bring the vertical into it, which is where they would have so-called horizontal point, ridiculous, which is right in the middle, which is the top of the hump, which you geometrically, if you wanted to, you could drop a vertical there, draw a perpendicular to that, and then that would be parallel to the horizontal established by the 2 points of the water level every time. That horizontal would be parallel to the one established by the water level, but they wouldn't call them horizontal, like we've heard over the last few days. They give up horizontal. Sarigaki said FE pilots after him. We did have a flat earth pilot come in here the other day. That dude is crazy, isn't he?
Oh my God.
Probably one of the funniest flat earthers I've seen.
Oh yeah.
Always good for a laugh.
His opening remarks in our conversation / debate. Why is the sun below 30,000 feet?
Yeah. Yeah, he said it again last night. I couldn't even be bothered recording him last night.
What's the use? Yeah.
What's the distance to the sun, Bev?
A light in the sky.
Huh?
There is no distance, is there?
Is there a procedure to measure the distance?
No. Not to lights in the sky. Absolutely.
Well, there
not.
might be a procedure, but you can't verify.
But just like to give an approximate value.
No way to verify that either. It's just over there or up there.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing it's not, it's never under there.
Yeah.
Is it local?
The light that you see in the
what
sky,
do you
yeah,
call
it's pretty damn
local?
local.
What do you call local? What's your definition of local? Do you go with 2 microns? Or the
69 miles. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, for a light in the sky, it's pretty damn local.
Mm-mm.
The cat agrees.
Yeah.
But it is observably local, isn't it? Like, it's pretty close. So.
Well, you can see it. If that's what you constitute as being local, being able to see it, then yeah.
Close enough and feel the effects of it, yeah. You see the effects of the sun and feel the effects of the sun. But to measure how far away it is and verify it, no, you can't do that. Don't let anybody tell you that they can with any probe. Did they use the same probe that they sent to Uranus to probe around and figure out the smell to measure the distance to the sun? They're mocking people.
Well, you just have to think about it logically, don't you? Can you measure the distance to something from one point? Like, can you measure a distance given 1 point?
No.
Good.
Yeah.
So that
It
ends
is
that
logically
argument.
impossible. So you need 2 points. So
Yeah, well, you could measure an angle, right? You've got 2 points there, haven't you?
yeah.
So what can you
What
do
about
with an angle?
trigonometry? We can use trigonometry to get an approximate value.
With an angle? You can do trigonometry with an angle. I don't think you can. I think it doesn't match the minimum requirements for doing trigonometry.
It's between 30,000 feet and infinity distance to the sun.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range.
Yeah, but if it's below that, it's definitely not flat.
Shout out FE.
It's got to be 92 million miles away if it's below 30,000 feet.
Yeah, Emma says you can do airfall with an angle. You can do technical. We do technical geometry terms here. You definitely can't do trigonometry with an angle, can you? You need a little bit
Who's
more.
Emma?
She's that quiet one.
She don't like to get involved too much, does she?
There you go. Here's flat Earth planet. Boom. If the sun is below 30,000 feet, P, then the Earth is not flat, Q. He did actually say that. Really.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've been looking for a globe logic, and like even after Betty came round and did the as a logician, like it took FE Pilot to come round and do some globe logic for us. Fantastic.
How can you be a pilot and think that? How?
I'm not so sure he's actually a pilot. I'm not really sure he's FE either. I mean, like, it might all be a complete lie.
You got a lot of time off for a full-time pilot. You got a strange way to talk to people, too.
Bev, feed the cat.
I know. I was just having strokes then. Gets angry.
I think the cat understands when it hears nonsense, it starts.
Wow. It was FE Pilots. Sent a message to Saragaki. Let's debate where I kick your flat ass. Now he's got a flat. Like, he's confused. He says, how do you explain the sun being below 20,000 feet?
What? He wants another debate after that one.
I guess that
whatever you want to.
if it's below 20,000 feet, then it's definitely not flat then, right?
Wow,
don't
we're going
know,
to be
it's
needing
getting-
a parachute.
It's getting closer. I guess that might be around the equator.
See,
We are dealing with geniuses here, right? Expose.
Like he actually said below 20,000 feet now, for real?
Yeah, have a look in the chat to send in messages to Saragaki. So how do you explain the sun being below 20,000 feet? Seems dangerous to people under it. I mean, like ridiculous claims made by ridiculous people, it seems.
Holy delusion, Batman.
Yep.
And here we are, just trying to talk about reality, basic concepts of straight lines, and we've got geniuses talking about the sun being below 30,000 feet and then even lower, 20,000 feet. And this man isn't joking. He's serious. He thinks this is an argument.
Yeah, that's the kind of landings I
Yeah.
expect him to be doing.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, we do have a video. Like I said, I think I'll put it out at the weekend. It's a 4-hour video where FE Pilot came round here.
Oh, he's giving me proof now.
All right. Is it going to be a picture?
Yep.
I bet it's a picture of a cockpit.
see, what I don't actually understand is, it's like the whole sort of perspective. Bev, you trying to outline here. You seem like you don't like you're not appreciating the flatter perspective, like the black swan and other arguments,
What arguments?
like the black swan, for instance.
What's it about the black swan?
Basically, like, for me, like, it's an argument that goes to show that it debunks the radius. That's all it is.
Yeah, but how does it debunk the radius?
Based on the ball measurement, like 3959.
Yeah, and what could it be? I mean, there's many problems with it. But does it allow?
Problems.
What does it allow for?
What do you know to sell out for? I don't get your point.
Well, it debunks R as a number, doesn't it? Because,
Yeah.
like, you remember it right at the beginning. Like, the loads of people have pointed this out. There is many flaws of the Black Swan, but the
What are
main
the flaws?
flaw was exposed by Mr. Sensible
What are
when
the
he
flaws
said,
of
at
Black
best, you've debunked the radius.
Swan? That's it.
Yeah.
Therefore, of in I ball. It's like it's fair.
No.
That's the whole argument.
No, that's not
Wrong. There's nothing wrong with it.
You don't get rid of radius. You get rid of 3959.
But those are the
Could
conventions.
it be
Those are
3958.5?
No, but those
It's
are the
allowed
common
for
analysis.
within the logic. You've just debunked
No, but
one
those
number.
are-
It could be another number.
What do you mean on the number?
The logic.
That's the common. There's no logic there. There's a common number. That's the measurement.
Yeah, but you're talking about, or you're talking about a picture. What is it you're talking about when you say Black Swan?
I mean, so obviously, The picture, yeah, that video. You know what I'm talking about. I mentioned the black swan, right?
Yeah, do you know what you're talking about? I definitely know. But do
Okay.
you? How far have you looked into it?
Not really, but
The black swan. Well, you can't use it as an argument if you've not actually looked into it.
what are its flaws? What are the flaws of the black swan then?
See, well, you said that you didn't understand and you didn't think that I'm getting the flat Earth perspective. And then when I asked you what the flat Earth perspective was, you've said you've not actually looked into it.
It basically debunks the black swan blocks the radius.
Is
that's
that
all it is.
Yeah, but is the flat Earth perspective the perspective of somebody who hasn't really looked into what the argument is that he's trying to use? Is that what you think I'm missing as the flat Earth perspective?
No. I'm telling you, for me, there's nothing wrong with it. Right? There's nothing wrong with the black swan. You can use it as a proof,
But
right?
You've not looked into it. You've just told us you've not looked
that
into
the Earth
it.
is not a spinning ball, right?
It doesn't mention about motion at all in the black swan. Does it?
No, forget about motion. Talk about sphericity.
Okay, well, what does the black swan state then, if you want to go over it? Do you know it, the black swan?
But I know that I have a superficial idea about it, but for me, it's clear.
Can you not recite it?
Sorry?
Can you not recite it?
Let me pause the picture, hold on.
Oh, you've got a picture.
There's always a picture.
Yeah. It is logic, right? Is that what you're going to be showing us?
Yeah.
I bet. Nice. So have you ever been taught this logic? Because I did say this at the beginning when QE brought this out. I said it'd be great for us to teach people logic. Oh, how wrong I was. It took t-shirt logic for us to get over this sort of stuff. You want to have a competition who can get the stuff first? I'll wait for you.
Okay. Just post it on the live chat, right?
Okay.
Because it's based on the modus tollens, right? Logical argument.
Mm-hmm.
If P then Q, not Q, therefore not P, right? If the Earth is a sphere with a radius 39 15 miles P, then every horizon distance measurement must be no more than 1.225 times squared root of observed height in feet Q. Geometric horizon curve calculator. Not Q horizon distance greater than 9.41 miles, therefore not P. Earth is not a sphere. That's all it is.
Yeah. Okay, so
basically,
can we go over it?
Yeah.
Okay, so when it says 1.225 times the square root of the, can you explain that to us? Because it says, if the Earth, big E, is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, P.
Okay.
That's the antecedent, right? So you've got big E sat there, big ball. Right now, we're looking for a consequent of a ball.
All right.
Okay. So you tell me the consequent of a big ball.
Okay. Dürfen das verwenden.
It's a bit of a problem, isn't it, trying to work out a consequent of a ball. Right, so the antecedent, P, is a big ball. And then you're looking for some sort of consequent for that ball. So what would you look for? You'd look for a formula, obviously, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right, so where would that formula come from? Where would be the greatest trusted source of formulas for big balls? Where would you go looking?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Where's it go? Oh, curve calculators. Who writes the curve calculators? Mick West, Walter Bislin. So they're the trusted source that you're going to work out for your consequent of a big ball. There's problems, but it's a logical statement, right? We're just going to go with it.
Yeah.
It's a consequent of all that, right? Now, what's the... It's a distance, right, with a formula for a distance to the horizon, right? The horizon distance measurements. Yeah?
Yeah.
How would you measure the distance to the horizon?
Yeah, that's difficult. Yeah, I get
That's
what
the
you're
problem, isn't it? Right. So
saying.
again, the consequent is something that we can't ever do and we can't match, but we're going to trust people like Mick West and Walter Bislin with the formula for this, and then we're going to say not that. And why not that? Because the distance is greater than a number that you've been given by Mick West. So you can say not that you couldn't have measured in the first place anyway, that was only calculated by people like Mick West and Walter Bislin. So, okay, let's go along with that. Also, not 3959. Could it be 3958.5?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And it'd still go with the logical consistency of the argument, right? You've still fulfilled the thing. So that as an argument it's not what you thought it was, right? It's not as rock solid. And that's just going over it a bit. So other than that, what else have you got? Because, I mean, that is logic. We said that. I said that at the beginning. Logic should be simple and really easy to understand. But QE had done a good job because we could try and explain logic to people. Didn't work out too well. Because nobody really understood the logic and all of that behind the black swan, the formulation of how you formulate the modus tollens. I mean, it's a brilliant concept, modus tollens. Modus ponens or modus tollens. Like we have the t-shirt logic based on a similar sort of system.
So you say it should be based on reality other than assumption then?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a mistake bringing Walter Bislin and curve calculators into the argument.
I see.
But, I mean, you can still, if you know how to use logic, then you can still use it as an argument. Because it doesn't work for a globe. Just because it's not as good as what you think it should have been as a globe killer. It's not a proof of flat, is it? And it doesn't exactly kill the globe, as Mr. Sensible pointed out. The best, he said, the best you've done is to debunk the radius, which is the value of that number. I mean, he didn't understand how much his model relied on that number being that number. I think it's 3953, isn't it? The actual number, but they had to fluctuate it a bit to say some sort of an average because of a hump that they wanted to put in somewhere. But I don't even think 3959 is good. Yeah, we went on Nathan's today, guys, but didn't really get to say much. You got to say hello at the beginning. They were talking about triangles. The FE pilot's obsessed with being flat. He is a proper 2D thinker, which we had again. I think, didn't we have that SE in your proof discussion? I think, again, curved, I think it was, had to have a 2D surface. It's necessary. That horizontal plane comes to taunt them again with a 2D plane that they have to conceptually bend. I don't know any other ways to explain it. I think we're going to have to end up getting some graphics sorted. Somehow, an animation or whatever to try and explain the paradox that they have to dismiss. RC Meisty's in it. He might be able to talk about paradoxes and the hump day. And how the paradox between the double drop and how you can convert that into a hump conceptually in order to be dictated to by your model, because there must be curvature.
There must be both in their fantasy.
Yep.
Hence the paradox.
And like established earlier, it's a paradox because it's a self-contradictory thing. You can't have both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
If the Earth, big E, if you have big E, if big E is a spherical object, then the surface of liquid water must curve. Q. It's a consequent. That's like a proper consequent.
Has to be.
Yeah. If you have a spherical object and the water surrounds that spherical object, it must curve. Must. Simply put. That's a logical statement. You're never going to get around that.
That damn logic again.
And that's why the drop or the hump must be. Must.
Must.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Even though the most logical explanation is a horizontal plane. Straight. Shortest distance between 2 points.
It's a proper mind meld.
Mm-hmm. Shows the paradox. The double drop turning into the hump when the obvious is the direct middle bit in between both of them.
Flat Earth Math almost got it yesterday. It was almost there. But he couldn't. He had to, the model dictates, he had to, at the end, say it's actually a hump, but not a hump.
He went for the scale hair sort of example, didn't he?
Oh, that's at the end when it was getting silly. Yeah.
In his way to divert from it all.
That was good. That was good.
It must. There's no way around it. I'm waiting to get me. I need some voiceovers doing, because I'll keep putting that up. No. I keep hearing Emma's voice. Like an infomercial. We're gonna have to sort that out, guys. We need to start doing some voices. We need to do the proof thing for DP, the proof for proof voiceover. I don't know how we're gonna sort that. We're just gonna have to get together and have a proper night, those of us.
Sure, we can work that out.
Yeah. And then we need to go and start talking like we was talking to you about, going out on the streets, or not on the streets, but doing this proof thing. I think that could definitely hit the streets with that, just to find out how many people out there. In fact, yeah, it's a bit hard, isn't it? Because you need to be able to go back to discuss it with them. Because at first, nobody will have ever had any idea of what it is. Maybe they should have in university, shouldn't they? Should have a concept of proof, or whatever they think proof is. You would think.
So far, I'm met with, what do you mean?
Yeah.
When I ask him, what is proof? What do you mean?
Or you can't have any proof. There's no such thing as proof. Look at that. Saragaki's put in there. It's almost as though they've been taught a camera trickery technique. that magnifies a curve.
Yeah, he DM'd that one to me a while back. Yeah. Same old pictures.
And he says, "Trust your eyes," and he
Yeah.
shows you a picture.
Yeah.
There could be topography.
Oh, you guys want to see curve via this dude here?
That's
Watch this.
That's a camera technique.
Yeah.
Mick West told us. It's called perspective compression. Or that's what they call it. Where it magnifies a slight curve. That slight curves across the floor and within the camera lens. It's manufactured of all sorts of different things. You don't measure curvature with a camera. Nobody does that. Only people that have been conditioned to look at Soundly's picture and think it shows anything, because you've seen it that many times. It's been given to you as a thing. Look at this picture. Look at this picture. Look at it. Look at it. It doesn't prove anything.
Look at this picture.
Yeah.
I've been saving this one.
Ha ha. It's crazy.
He thinks that's curve from the plane, from the HUD. Oh, FC, man. You're too much, bro.
It's crazy the amount of time adults put in to trying to convince us of something that, I don't know. Just come in with your proofs and stuff. Like, put it together. Pictures won't cut it. They don't work. It's not demonstrable. It's not repeatable. I can't repeat that. Unless you've just looked at a picture for however many hundreds of hours and decided that it's proves something. Well, I can't look at a picture for that long. I'm not that stupid, let's say. It's just a picture.
FC, what did your boy Degrassi say about a certain height? You couldn't see the curve. Remember that height? What it was?
He's just as bad. Don't be helping them by citing him, because then you'll just end up in an argument about some other dude that said something, and the fact that you think that he did say that thing. I get on that video of Rumpus the other day. Yeah. Saragaki. That, like, you've not really been in this that long, have you? Like, what did you think when you saw that? I mean, everybody must have seen this spinning fish tank.
Yeah.
Right? And it's always been cited from a group of people to prove that water isn't level. Right? Now, I don't know about you, because whatever did the same. Like, when I set up our water level test at the beginning, he did the same thing with it. He span it. He put it on one of these things and span it around. And it did the same thing as what's happening here. The water level on the outside goes up. Now, that seems backwards to me, looking at it like that. But, thinking about it, George has the bubble of a bubble level, and Zanuck. the bubble level of a bubble being on the outside, being higher on the outside, much like that water there. Higher on the outside, at both ends. And also a ball rolling to the middle, which is, if you freeze framed it like that, looks like a skate park. The ball would roll to the middle. So although it does actually look ridiculous to us, so it does to me anyway, right? That looks ridiculous for them to prove that water isn't level, when actually they need the opposite of that to be true, a ball. But everything that they say is actually that way around. George, thanks, George. Thanks, Zanik. Thanks anyone that has the bubble higher on the outside of the spirit level on LIGO. The contradictions within what they give us are, I mean, that for anybody to give you that proof of water doing that, and for them to contemplate, they think that proves a globe model when it's the complete opposite.
Shouldn't it be curving the other way even in their fantasy here? Don't they even see that fault?
Yeah. Well, when I see this, right, what I see is you're just proving that water at rest, establishing a horizontal plane, proves there's no motion. None. Because what they actually need is a curve in the opposite direction, not horizontal. And this goes to show centrifugal force, the spinning motion of the water. The water is not horizontal. It has a curvature to it if there is any motion. Should be pretty simple, that. So counterintuitive for them to actually give us that. Yeah, there you go. There's a plumb one. SE's got his plumb bob. Plumb bob's the same thing. The water is just perpendicular. It is in a perfect symbiotic relationship. The vertical and the horizontal are both there in reality as a truth. And the geometry goes to describe them. If there's any motion, neither of them are as they are. Vertical is not vertical if it's spinning, and horizontal is not horizontal if there's motion.
Now, I think he's even mistaken of the meaning between the meaning behind this spinning fish tank. I could be wrong, but the first time I saw this was a couple of years ago. It was brought up because I was talking with somebody about the rotating mythical sphere, and that thing has fish in them, and they were trying to tell me, look, can the fish tell if it's spinning? So I think he should do some homework on this. I think he's using the wrong example here.
With
that
the
video, sorry.
Yeah, with the spinning fish tank, it says centrifugal force as the title of the video. On a rotating ball, you have centrifugal force. And in this video here, the water is being flung, up towards
Exactly.
with the vector of the force, which is opposite on the ball. So yeah, you're right. He's arguing against himself.
Yeah, that was my first argument. Yeah.
To be even more pedantic,
That's bad connection. Right.
all right, hang on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad though. And jump back in whenever you're ready. Let's see what it sounds like. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be like even in us. I think for us to have to point this out, maybe it needs to be gone over. But I can't see the reason why he would possibly think that would help him. Like, you've got to really be able to confuse the issue, confuse the argument, in order to be able to post that proudly, thinking it helps you. Has anybody ever got a good explanation, or is it just one of those ones where they post a picture and imagine that's good enough as an argument because whoever they've seen other people do it?
See this container with the water on the inside
Yeah.
and it being spun around and the water sloshing up on the inside of the container? This globe.
Yeah.
Yeah, better. Hear me?
Go on.
Yeah. So with the spinning fish tank, the mechanism, right? I'm big. You know me. I love the mechanism. So it's the water being inside the tank and the glass pushing the water. I don't know if that's what you guys were saying. So as the glass moves, it is what's touching the water to spin the water. So on a ball, that would be impossible because the mechanism would need to be around the water, not inside the water.
Yeah, you've got a container, right?
Yeah, totally well, the ball can quote unquote be a container.
Yeah, well, no. Can you imagine this experiment without the container? What would it look like? Like, take the fish tank out of this, and then let's go again. Like, it doesn't happen. It only is reliant on the container. Step one. It's a pretty big fail.
Yeah, or take away the container, put a tennis ball there, and put water on it and spin it. See what happens then.
Scale,
gravity. You don't understand.
Yeah, but even with that, take a bowl like a lake would be, fill it with water, and spin it or move it. The water sloshes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because there's no container.
I mean, oh, man.
That's what I mean. It's like a double play, right? It's that ridiculous that even getting you to contemplate it must be the trick. I mean, obviously not performed by FE Pilot. Obviously performed by the people that have given them it as an argument. Right? The very fact that they're giving it you shows how much control they must be under. How inverted their thinking has to be. He can literally show you something that disproves the model and thinks it's a proof for the model. That's twisted thinking. Like, that's...
Is there such a thing as a self-paradoxing yourself?
Yeah.
We have to invent it if it isn't.
They must live in a world of paradox where they literally think disproving something is how you prove it. It is a consequence, I reckon, of not being taught logic. Basic, simple logic. perhaps that's why I'm not a glober, right? I can't have a model because the model, obviously, I would have to defend that because somebody's posted it as a globe proof. If somebody posts something as a globe proof and you're a glober, you have to defend that argument, no matter how ridiculous it is.
It's like being in a gang, right? No matter what they say about the Bloods, bro, they could say something just as you're stupid, Bloods. You got to do something, bro.
Yeah, he did. He sent me that as well, Saragaki, in a message. He must have sent it to everybody. Doesn't know what level is. Level's horizontal. Horizontals are all parallel to each other.
Yeah, this guy recycles his messages, copy paste.
Is he sending everybody in the Discord?
I must have got at least 10 DMs from him just in the past, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes.
I only got one.
I mean, the only reason I've ever done that particular demonstration to people, the only reason I've ever done that particular demonstration is to show that liquids always conform to the forces acting on them.
Yeah, and if there is none, it's horizontal, right?
And also, it's not conforming
show me a situation where water doesn't have forces acting on it.
It's not conforming to the force. It's conforming to the glass walls.
No,
the physical walls.
No. Wait a minute. Let's get this over and done with, right? When there is no forces, when it's in static, right?
Static equilibrium, right?
Yep. Hydrostatic, hydro, water, static, not moving, no motion, nothing.
Well, in physics, hydrostatic equilibrium simply means that the sum of all of the forces.
It's horizontal, right? It's a horizontal plane.
No, hydrostatic does not mean horizontal, sir.
Okay, then. So if the water does that, right? It goes in that one there with the experiment that we see where it goes higher on the outside. And you say it's not horizontal when it's static. You would say there is an opposite curve to it.
You seem to be spiraling based on what I said.
No, I'm just trying to work out. Is it horizontal? Is it a horizontal plane?
I simply said that water, and liquids in general, conform to the forces acting on
Yeah, which I said would be, in the static state, hydrostatic, a horizontal plane of reference.
I don't know how that is based on anything horizontal. We're talking about static equilibrium.
Yep.
And in statics, if you want to talk about equilibrium, you can talk about things being level, right?
Talk about a horizontal plane.
And level is
horizontal.
Always established based on the forces acting on a liquid.
Horizontal.
No one uses the word horizontal. We're talking about hydrostatics.
Yes, they do.
Okay. Show me an instance, then, if you think they do. Give me any citation you like about talking about hydrostatics and horizontal.
Yeah, the pressure.
You won't find it.
Yeah, the pressure.
Show me.
The pressure is at a hydrostatic equilibrium point, horizontal plane below the surface. Otherwise, there is flow because of the imbalance of pressure. Yes. But I mean, let's go with you say it's not horizontal. So you do know what horizontal plane is, and you're going to say it's not. Horizontal. You're going to say it's not
horizontal in connection with the idea of a hydrostatic equilibrium. Nobody.
Yeah, we did. Water at rest is a horizontal, like straight, flat, two-dimensional, horizontal plane with no motion.
It's level because of the fact that all of the forces acting on it are in equilibrium.
Okay. And any amount of turn right, would cause the water to spread out to the outside of the container.
Because of the forces acting.
Right,
and that was my entire
because
point.
of turning,
the only reason,
because of the turning forces, right?
Are you just going to keep?
I'm just trying to get this clarity, right?
No, you're just
it starts off.
Are you going to let me?
It starts off at a horizontal plane.
Have fun shitting all over yourself, Bev.
Okay,
he needed
it starts
a
off.
reason to be able to run away.
Doesn't matter. He's going to. Yeah. It's if it starts off at a horizontal plane, any motion means it goes out. If it doesn't start off at a horizontal plane, it starts off on the opposite curvature, which he requires on his model with the curvature, which means that you could start turning it an amount, and then it would become horizontal part way in between convexity to concavity. It's easy. It's really easy to understand, but the horizontal plane that R.C. Meisty knows he cannot have comes into it at one point or another, but he can't have it. It's tough. Thank you, FE Pilot, for bringing this. I don't know, could you call this a paradox? It's sort of the hump drop paradox again, isn't it? It has to be.
It's one of those has to be.
Yeah. It's again down to water. I mean, we were just doing the shape of things as well, but I mean, if they want to bring the motion into it as well, then I guess the water's willing to take that up with us, help us out with it. It's looking like at the minute that the water being horizontal at a static state in equilibrium means that there could possibly be no motion too. Not only could it be a horizontal plane, that horizontal plane could dispel any notion of motion.
Absolutely.
If it was what the water was resting on was in motion, then it would never reach hydrostatic equilibrium. In my mind.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'd say too.
Yep.
R.C. Meisty's a genius, though. He thinks we're shitting on ourselves. I would be shitting myself if I had a model and I thought I had rogue agents out there posting pictures of things that are back to front, thinking that they prove things that they're the opposite of.
With his balls on the line.
Yeah. So it's spinning and it's horizontal, right? So let's spin it some more and show that it goes way opposite the other way. I mean,
yeah.
Like, that's some genius scientist, that, isn't it? To work out how that proves something.
Like, what do they do in the background? Do they wager who's going to come up with the craziest idea that people are going to believe? Is that what they do? Hey, man, Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say, is this why the definitions of paradox allow it to have a chance to be true?
Yeah.
I think so.
And hope nobody figures it out.
Yeah.
Right?
Wizardry.
I hope nobody thinks about it. Yeah, wizardry. Straight up wizardry. They're hoping they're a good enough wizard trick for people not to figure it out. That's why I asked, okay, if you tell me that the atmosphere is spinning rotating along with the Earth, because it has to be, right? Or things would be different. We could prove it very easily. Then at what altitude does that stop happening? And when I get there, then I could look back and see what moving, right? Like Answer these questions. You can't even begin to get answers from them. That's when you become, the moron, idiot you don't understand when you ask that question. Just simple things.
Yep. There's so many holes in their model. It's not even funny.
It's funny what they imagine the model and the way that they imagine that the model gives proofs. It inevitably comes down to an angle. Yeah. He sent me that as well.
Same here.
Yeah. Again, it's an angle.
Yep, right on time.
He's got an angle, which I don't know whether you notice this. Please do if you're looking. There's an angle on the outside that he moves to the middle of a sphere. There'll be a familiar theme going on with this angle, but that's all it is. It's an angle that he's...
And an assumption of a sphere.
Moved. Well, I mean, yeah, if you... Well, like in geometry, if you're doing that, you're just drawing lines and balls and putting angles. Right? I mean, the ball is irrelevant. What that actually shows is that those two angles there being equal shows that those two lines are parallel. Parallel lines. That's right. Parallel. So parallel does actually exist. He's showing us that within that geometric thing that he's drawing there, he's showing us that parallel definitely exists.
It's absolutely crucial for what he's showing us right there.
Yep. And that would definitely mean we would be talking about Euclidean geometry, because parallel straight lines are definition 35. As such, they, though produced, do not meet. Same as parallel planes, though produced, do not meet. And the proof is like that guy shows there. He's got the angle, and the angles are equal. Vertical angles are always equal when they're opposite. Because you're cutting two parallel lines, the angles are the same angles cutting the opposite lines, therefore proving that the two angles in relation to the one straight line are equal. Basic geometric proof. Thank you very much. Because as we know, there's only Euclidean geometry that has parallel lines that don't meet, like that, straight parallel lines. It's a bit of a problem. But I'm guessing FE Pilot doesn't understand that little wizard trick. But again, thanks. Parallel lines are good for when you're explaining things geometrically, but you should know that they don't exist on the geometric model that the globe requires. Bit of a problem, because you can't have Euclidean and non-Euclidean in the same space. That'd be ridiculous. That would be, what would that be, Saragaki? How many laws of the basic laws would that be breaking? Having Euclidean and non-Euclidean.
Oof.
Within the same thing, right?
You're breaking the law of identity, which based on that you're also using a stolen concept fallacy. Meaning everything you're about to say from that point on is by default violating those two principles. Just by default, and then I can probably come up with more of
the law of non-contradiction, right? You can't have something that is Euclidean being not Euclidean at the same time, right? And the law of excluded middle means that you can't have it being on and off.
Yeah, you can't have it both ways.
It's all three of them, right?
They go very well together. Like, it's kind of hard to break just one of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
They kind of go hand in hand, to where if you violate one, all of them go out the window.
Yeah, but if you can prove that you violated one, and then you should easily be able to prove that you violated all three, then it's an absolute definite violation of those three basic things. And then you can almost say it's an impossibility, right? If you break in those things, then you can't have it. It just can't be. So you cannot have Euclidean and non-Euclidean at the same time. And you can't have a model with Euclidean, as the Globers have told us. They can't have straight lines. They can't have horizontal planes. So therefore they cannot have Euclidean. Even Rumpus said, I mean, who uses Euclidean nowadays? Huh? What? I'm thinking of a title for the Rumpus video that he did the other day. It's got to be hard hitting, right? Because he did basically do away with Euclidean geometry.
Yeah, he took away Euclidean geometry and inserted relativism. Yeah, basically.
In any practical sense, he took away the practicality of Euclidean geometry for the globe. Like, for the good of the globe, he just did away with it. Rumpus.
There's no humpus, Rumpus.
The globe saviour. In comes Rumpus. Don't worry, guys. We know you haven't got a horizontal plane. It's no use anyway. Nobody uses Euclidean geometry.
He does hit the ground running, though, right? Like, he comes in and he's mid sentence. He must be talking before he hits join. And the other day, I was going into the place, and I just. They do look up to him, though. And you got to respect that he was able to do that somehow.
Parallel sunlight. Oh. Crazy fool. I mean, not that... I mean, here's the thing. I say, the only thing that's different about me than most people is that I don't have a model, and I don't feel any need to have a model. But there are people out there, like FE Pilot, that really want to push a model on me. They want to do that. And I can't understand why somebody as simple as FE Pilot would think that his ridiculous arguments showing how lines can be parallel in geometry. I mean, the fact that he's drawn a ball there and drawn shadow on it. Like that's the only bit that makes absolutely no sense of the drawing. The rest of it, the showing the parallel lines, geometrically makes sense. The ball and the shadow and the well. Like, can you see that well? How much water would that well have in it? I mean, come on. Like, who'd ever put a well on a ball? You're not going to get much water out of that, are you? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But something tells him that he needs to send that to me. Unless he's just mass spamming it to the server. Is everybody getting it, or is he just doing it to everybody that's in the chat?
He's been doing this to me for months now. And tonight, that's at least 3 of us. He's sending the same stuff. So, yeah.
Why can't he just come here and talk to us? He has a lot of questions. Come on.
Yeah.
After last time, are you kidding?
Yeah, I am.
It's just so ridiculous. That why would he have to push that? It doesn't even make sense. Like crazy people. Crazy people.
Could be some young kid, in between playing games in his mom's basement, he gets his thrills to troll us.
In between games, I think you're probably right. I think there's a lot of gamers that do this for trolling. They imagine this is fun for them because I think they imagine that we're flat earthers.
When we were kids, we used to do mischief out on the streets. We won't get into what we used to do. But now I guess they do it on the internet. Trolling.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got a DM. I'm coming in later. That's from FE.
Oh, dear.
I'm coming in later. I will ball smack you.
Yeah. So if anybody put that out there, FE pilot, I mean, I've gone beyond recording these things, but I mean, if you do want to come in and have a chat with infamous FE pilot, I'll put the link in the chat. Most of you probably know anyway. This is the seems to be the top people that the Globe's got to offer are the new replacement trolls. This FE pilot's the one. I think he's the replacement for what's he called? I've even forgot his name. Paid NASA shill.
Oh yeah.
I think he's been sacked. Sent
him back to the factory.
Yeah, for reprogramming.
Yeah.
He failed dismally. His triangles. I mean, Mr. Sensible Wardenclyffe.
So this is the
not
pilot.
Mr. Sensible's sock. Don't worry about that. Definitely not. That was a slip of the tongue.
So this is the replacement pilot. This is
I think so.
NASA.
Yeah. Yep. It's like, can you go out there and to be the pilot, but don't make paid NASA shill look like a proper shill. So
that's going to be hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, FE Pilot looks like he's up to the task. Right? I mean, Paid NASA Shield doesn't look too ridiculous when you put him up to FE Pilot, does he?
That's true, yeah.
But FE Pilot has, he's been better than Paid NASA Shield. He doesn't demean people as much as Paid NASA Shield. Maybe that's what they've learned with this new one. To come at it a bit more humble. Because then the fall isn't as hard.
This is the no foul language Paid NASA Shield.
Right, well, I'm gonna shut this off for tonight. Down at midnight. I think that's pretty good. We've done a few hours. It's a bit upsetting about the thing going down. But tomorrow night, Thursday night, Euclid night, and this is where we put all of the logic, the geometry, and the reality all together. I don't know where we're going to get to in Euclid tomorrow. We might start dealing with some of the problematic parts of Euclid, and again, trying to keep linking it to reality like we always will. So, anybody got any final words?
If there is a paradox in your model, you might want to double check what's going on there.
Yeah. Check for paradoxes as well.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say one thing.
Go on.
Shout out the double drop hump. Shout out the twin boat paradox.
Yeah, skateboards. As long as you accept the paradox and understand, right? We might have to go over that a few more times. There's not many arguments, I don't think, that we have that can explain the problems that the globers actually have to the extent that the paradox can lay out in front of you. It's so visual in the thought process. It's so logical thought. So keep an eye out for the paradox. And see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching.